feels like everywhere you go in the Sims community, there's that one group of people who are just glazing The Sims 2 no matter what. So, is the game really that good, or are these people blinded by their own nostalgia? Let's find out. For a little backstory, Sims 2 was actually my introduction to the series. Way back in elementary school, I was over at my friend's house playing Sims 2 on his PlayStation 2. Being the naive little 8-year-old that I was, I couldn't even bother to remember the name of the game. So I completely forgot about the Sims series until Sims 4 came out when I was in high school. Jumping straight into the game, the first thing that you're going to notice as a new player is the unique presentation. This game is very, very silly and it never takes itself too serious. And that opens up a lot of opportunities for fun and wacky gameplay. Just to give one example, these interactive events that you get while your sim is at work are hilarious and completely random. I'm sitting at my computer with smoke coming out my ears, trying to figure out which option to pick. I mean, every aspect of this game is just oozing with flavor and character. The neighborhood cutscenes when you start a new family, the loading screens with these little tiles that light up, cutscenes for important moments in your Sims' lives, such as their first woohoo. It's all just so unique and refreshing, and I can't believe that this game from 2004 could possibly have more detail than we have in newer games. Which leads me to my next point, attention to detail. This is the main thing that people praise Sims 2 for, and I can definitely see why. The animations in this game are crazy. Things like cooking food, playing with pets, and just about anything else have great animations that are much more detailed than what we have in Sims 4. When your sim is cooking certain dishes, they'll actually pull the ingredients out of the refrigerator. What? And sometimes, depending on the dish that they're cooking, they'll even pull utensils out of the cabinets. When you're starting a new world, each neighborhood is going to come packed with its own lore. I don't know about you guys, I never read these, but still, it just goes to show the level of detail and effort that they were putting into these worlds back then. And they even gave you the ability to create your own worlds completely from scratch, which is just insane for 2004. One detail that I really admire in this game is that your sloppy Sims will scarf down their food. They will fuck that shit up. And look at the way this DJ actually turns the knobs while he's playing music. I mean, this blew me away. If you want to talk about being blown away, let's talk about cars in The Sims 2. They implemented them perfectly given that the game has no open world. Cars are going to spawn at the edge of the lot and drive up in front of their destination, where Sims will actually open the door and get into the vehicle. Fully animated. Yo, this is insane. Sometimes they'll even open the door, close it, realize that they didn't close it all the way, open it and shut it again. This even surpasses the level of detail that we had in Sims 3, where your Sims kind of just teleported into their vehicles. I really wish we had something like this in The Sims 4. I mean, given that both of these games have no open world, I can't believe that Sims 2 can have vehicles but Sims 4 somehow can't. Like, what? Make it make sense. Just imagine if in Sims 4 they decided to add an auto shop expansion, either as a new business type or a playable career, and they bring cars to the base game for everyone to enjoy. I mean, that would be the perfect way to bring cars into this game. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Simology, which I really love how they implemented it in this game. Basically, your Sim's sign will dictate their personality. I knew all Tauruses were the same. There's also a point mechanic where you can remove points from one category and add them onto another one. I really like this mechanic, and it makes it so that your Sims can't really be overpowered. They're always going to have some negative or some average traits. These outcomes will take the place of traits that we got in later games like Sims 3 and Sims 4. For example, we have lazy versus active, serious versus playful, and they'll all change depending on how many points you decide to put into them. Let's talk about relationships for a second. I really like how they implemented the relationship system in this game. Basically, your Sim will have two different meters for each relationship. One is going to be the daily meter and the other is the lifetime meter. So basically, your daily meter goes up depending on your day-to-day interactions with a certain Sim. And this daily meter is going to decay every single day just by a little bit. The lifetime meter is going to normalize itself towards whatever your daily relationship value is. So if your daily meter is very high with a certain Sim, that means the lifetime relationship is going to start to go up as well. The way they have this set up means that you can't just speed run your way into a relationship the first time you meet a Sim, similar to how we could do it in Sims 4. Honestly, I really like this system. It feels a lot more realistic and authentic than, trying for a baby with a person that you just met. Since we're talking about relationships, that reminded me of the chemistry system. Chemistry between two Sims is going to be affected by their aspirations, their personality traits, and their turn-ons/turn-offs. laughs. Sims with good chemistry are going to build relationships way faster than normal. As a side note, I don't know if I'm just trash at Sims 2, but it feels like building relationships in this game takes way longer than what we had in Sims 3 or Sims 4. But that's not a complaint. As I said earlier, I really do admire the system, and it feels like you actually have to put in work to build a solid relationship with somebody. When you're talking to Sims, there are also a lot more negative outcomes. I have more Sims in the friend zone than I'd care to admit. Another little detail that I really admire in Sims 2 is the interests. Interests are randomly assigned to your Sim, but they can also be changed by reading magazines or sharing interests with other Sims. In Sims 4, we get to pick a bunch of likes and dislikes, but nothing really changes over time. It's all kind of set in stone once you pick what your Sim likes and what they don't like. But in Sims 2, these interests are fluid and ever-changing based on what happens in your Sims' lives. And I love that. It really adds to the immersion and the sense that your Sim has their own personality, thoughts, and twisted desires. Interests can also be changed depending on your Sim's hobbies. This is a very cool mechanic that comes with the free time expansion. Basically, the more you do a certain activity, the more enthusiasm levels your Sim will start to gain, unlocking cool new interactions and secret lots along the way. Another thing that really blew me away about Sims 2 is the soundtrack. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times my Sim has walked into the store and I've just been completely distracted by the music that they were playing. Especially if you play with headphones on, oh boy. The sound design overall is just A1. Everything from the sound effects, the music, I mean, it's all there. As for the expansions, they're all packed with content. I mean, what other game do you know from the early 2000s that has 18 paid add-ons? EA was on it from the start, weren't they? For a Sims game with only 8 expansions, they definitely packed a ton of content into those DLCs. My favorites so far have been Open for Business and Seasons. I'm not going to go super into detail on the expansions in this video, but let me know if that's something you guys would want to see in the future. Now that I've talked about all the things that I really love about Sims 2, let's talk about some of the shortcomings. For one, I really prefer the moodlet system that we had in Sims 3 in regards to telling you how your Sim is feeling. In Sims 2, your Sims really have no emotion at all besides happy or sad, as dictated by the bar. It's almost impossible to determine the length of certain status effects, like your Sim being sick. Also, a lot of interactions are very limited when your Sims are sitting down. They can't really multitask at all. And I hate that they take out the entire dish when getting leftovers. And I don't know if this is a glitch, but it seems like my Sims only build skill on their home lot. If I take my Sim to the gym, they won't gain any skill no matter how long they work out for. And this is definitely one of my biggest complaints with the game. It's safe to say that Sims 2 was way ahead of its time, with detailed animations and mechanics that still hold up to this day. It's hard to believe that this 20-year-old game does things better than Sims 4. The game never takes itself too serious, yet somehow it provides a more realistic and immersive world than what we have in Sims 4. While the game does have its weaknesses, it's still surprisingly fun to play. The only real drawbacks come from the technical limitations of 2004 when Sims 2 released. Every other area, the attention to detail, the gameplay, the mechanics, can go toe-to-toe with Sims 3 and Sims 4. And the crazy thing is I played this game without a single mod installed. These are just some of my thoughts after straight up binging The Sims 2 for the past couple weeks. As for the game, it definitely gets my stamp of approval. It's easy to see how this game spawned some die-hard Sims fans. While Sims 3 is still my favorite game in the series hands down, I can see myself playing Sims 2 whenever I need a break. Those were my thoughts on Sims 2, you guys. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more Sims content.